2019 was a great year for gaming. There were so many awesome games to play that you could get overloaded with choices. Now that 2019 is done with, many people and websites are putting out what they think are the best games of the year, and I wanted to do the same. Now, I should note that the list I'm about to present is going to be a little different than some of the other lists that are out there for two reasons. Reason 1, this list only contains games that I've played in 2019. So, if you don't see a game that you liked on my list, it doesn't mean that I didn't like it, but it could be because I just never got around to playing it in 2019. Reason 2, I'm considering all games that I've played in 2019, even if they were released in prior years. So, if a game was released in 2018, 2017, or even earlier, if I didn't play it until 2019, I will consider it for this list. With all that in mind, here are the top 10 games that I played in 2019. Number 10, My Friend Pedro. This game was released without too much fanfare this past summer, but make no mistake, this is one of the best, most fun action games that I played this year. I loved its bloody violence, cool puzzles, and a reverent sense of humor. Clearing a room full of enemies in this game is something you definitely need to experience for yourself. And of course, the boss battles in this game are both fun and intense. As such, My Friend Pedro definitely makes it onto my list of top 10 games of 2019. Number 9, it's a tie between Tetris 99 and Tetris Effect. Yeah, I know having a tie is a bit of a cop-out, but it's my list, so I'm doing it. Tetris 99 was released earlier in 2019 for the Nintendo Switch, but Tetris Effect was initially released in 2018 for the PlayStation 4. Tetris 99 is a blast because it allows you to test your skills against 98 other players. Essentially, it's a battle royale game, but with Tetris instead of guns. Tetris Effect, on the other hand, is more of an experience with really eye-catching special effects and a fantastic soundtrack. It's definitely a game that needs to be played with your speakers turned way up. However, both games at their core contain that fun, timeless Tetris gameplay, and therefore, both games make it onto my list. Number 8, Detroit: Become Human. This is another game that was released in 2018, but I didn't get around to playing it until it became free on PlayStation Plus in 2019. Detroit and other games by David Cage like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls are definitely my guilty pleasure games. Yeah, the writing can be a bit melodramatic and sometimes preachy, but I still can't help but like playing these games. This is mainly because of the choices you can make in these games that allow you to carve out a more personalized narrative. Detroit definitely continues this choice mechanic, and it is the main reason why I enjoyed playing it. If you haven't tried out Detroit Become Human yet, I definitely recommend that you do. Number 7, Devil May Cry 5. It should be noted that Devil May Cry 4 was released way back in 2008, so we've had to wait 11 years to get a proper sequel. Yes, in between this time, we did get a Devil May Cry game developed by Ninja Theory, and while I did like that game, it just didn't have the same feel as the previous games. As such, I was really glad that Capcom decided to make a new Devil May Cry game themselves. This game is a definite return to form, with fast-paced melee combat coupled with a great cast of characters and a cool story. Hacking and slashing through hordes of monsters has just never felt better. Here's hoping that Capcom gets to making Devil May Cry 6 really soon. Number 6, Magic: The Gathering Arena. It should be noted that Arena has been in beta for a couple of years before it was fully released in 2019 for Windows PC, which is when I decided to start playing it. When I was a lot younger, I used to play the physical card game a lot, and in my opinion, Magic: The Gathering Arena, which I should note is a free-to-play game, does a pretty good job of recapturing that feeling. Also, the decks that you earn while playing the game are good enough to help you win matches against others online. Admittedly, if you've never played Magic: The Gathering before, the game can be a little complicated at first. However, if you put in the time and effort to learn the rules, you'll find that Magic: The Gathering Arena is one of the deepest, most interesting card games you can play today. Number 5, Call of Duty: Modern Warfare. Yes, I know Activision releases a new Call of Duty game every year, but damn it if I don't love playing these games. Also, in my opinion, the new Modern Warfare is one of the best, if not the best game released for the series in the past few years. Compared to the fast-paced multiplayer of previous games, Modern Warfare feels slower, which is something that I personally prefer. However, the shooting feels as tight as ever, and you'll still have plenty of gameplay modes in which to kill your opponents. Couple that with a great single-player campaign, and you've got yourself one great package. If you never liked Call of Duty before, this game won't change your mind. But if you're a fan of the series, or just haven't played in a couple years, I highly encourage you to try out Modern Warfare. Number 4, Samurai Showdown. Now, full confession here, I really like fighting games in general, but I'm not exactly great at them. Particularly, I'm not very good at the games that require heavy combo mix-ups, like the Marvel vs. Capcom series or Dragon Ball FighterZ. The truth is that I simply don't have the dexterity to play those games at a high level. That's why I really enjoyed Samurai Showdown. Instead of using 100-hit combos to defeat your opponent, Samurai Showdown relies more on timing and patience to figure out when to deliver a killing blow. Playing mind games, trying to bait your enemy, and punishing their mistakes is the best way to defeat your opponent. Matches can be over very quickly if you or your opponent make one big mistake, and that's what I love about it. Truth be told, Samurai Showdown is one of the best fighting games I've played in the last few years, and one that I encourage all fighting game fans to try. Number 3, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. While many gamers enjoy the multiplayer action of the Battlefront series, what I really wanted was a great single-player Star Wars game. That was finally delivered by developers Respawn Entertainment in the form of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Playing as former Jedi Padawan Cal Kestis, and taking place a few years after the infamous Order 66 event, you'll be traveling to many worlds and taking down many enemies with your trusty lightsaber. From the dialogue, the locations, the music, and the sound effects, Fallen Order truly captures the feel of the Star Wars universe. A lot of love was put into making this a great single-player experience, and I'm honestly glad that EA didn't tack on any onerous microtransactions or unnecessary multiplayer. If you're a fan of the Star Wars universe, getting Fallen Order should be a no-brainer. Number 2, The Outer Worlds. Some have called this game Fallout in space, and while that may be somewhat accurate, it does a disservice to what is a unique experience. One of the many things you'll notice about The Outer Worlds is how colorful it is. While Fallout may be drab and dreary, The Outer Worlds color palette just amplifies how cool the game's worlds are. I also love the setting of the game, which takes place in a remote corner of the galaxy where large corporations pretty much run everything. This is reflected in the game's great dialogue, where NPCs often have to repeat the slogans of the companies they work for. After playing The Outer Worlds, the game's developers, Obsidian Entertainment, have definitely become one of my favorite game companies. Here's hoping that a sequel comes soon. Now, before I reveal my number 1 game for 2019, I just wanted to make both an honorable and dishonorable mention. First, I have to give an honorable mention to Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, I know for many people out there, Sekiro is one of the top games, if not the top game, they've played in 2019. The fact is, I did like Sekiro overall. The combat is very unique, and the setting of the game is really cool. However, as discussed in a previous video, the fact that I had to spend days trying to beat just 2 of the game's bosses was a little bit much for me. I know there are gamers out there who don't mind this level of difficulty, but as someone who doesn't have as much time to play games as in the past, it was just frustrating for me. That being said, I still like the game overall, and for that reason, I want to at least give a shout out to Sekiro. For my dishonorable mention, that would have to go to BioWare's Anthem. I'm someone who's a big fan of BioWare and their games, and so I was excited when I heard they would be releasing a completely new IP. Unfortunately, for a game that's supposed to compete with the likes of Destiny, I was a bit disappointed. The game does have a solid grounding with great combat, cool flying suits, and beautiful graphics. Initially I had fun with the game, but after beating the main story, I just didn't find much to pull me back in, which is bad news for a persistent online loot shooter. That being said, it's entirely possible for BioWare to turn things around, but recent reports have indicated this probably will not happen. Which is a shame because Anthem had a lot of potential, but it was unfortunately squandered. Now, without further ado, my number 1 game for 2019 is the Resident Evil 2 Remake. More than 2 decades after the release of the original Resident Evil 2, Capcom released a game that just doesn't polish the original game, but completely overhauls it. Instead of playing from fixed camera angles, the remake plays from a third-person perspective. However, elements from the original game have been kept, such as solving puzzles and finding keys to advance to the next area, as well as inventory and ammo management, which forces you to pick your fights more carefully. The fact of the matter is, this game has everything I could want. Action, scares, great graphics, cool characters, and a large Mr. X chasing you around. I was skeptical at first as to how the remake would work out, but my fears were for nothing. I loved the Resident Evil 2 remake, and it is my favorite game for 2019. And that's the end of my video. What did you think of my choices? Did you agree with them, or did you have other games in mind? Let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to check out my other social media accounts in the description below. Until next time, this is Jason from Force Hammer Gaming, signing off.